Sometimes, the most important places in America are the ones nobody notices. Not New York, not California, not Florida, no giant skylines, no famous beaches, no dramatic mountains. And then there's Indiana. At first glance, it feels almost invisible. Flat farmland, long highways, quiet industrial towns. Nothing flashy, nothing exciting. But beneath that ordinary surface lies one of the most important states in the American economy. Because Indiana was never built to impress people. It was built to keep America moving. And once you realize that, you can never look at this state the same way again. Thousands of years ago, massive glaciers moved across this region, flattening nearly everything in their path. And when the ice finally melted, it left behind rich soil and land so level, early travelers described it as endless. Most people see flat land and think it looks boring. But in infrastructure, flat land is power. It makes roads cheaper to build, railroads easier to expand, shipping faster, construction simpler. And over time, those small advantages quietly transformed Indiana into something incredibly valuable. When America began building its transportation networks, Indiana became one of the easiest states to cross in the entire Midwest. And slowly, almost quietly, Indiana transformed into a national crossroads. Not a destination, a connection point. Today, more than a dozen interstate highways pass through the state. Near Indianapolis, they form one of the densest transportation networks in America. Every single day, endless streams of trucks move across these roads. Auto parts from Michigan, consumer goods from Chicago, agricultural shipments heading south. Most people driving through Indiana barely think about it, but the American economy does, because this state sits almost perfectly at the center of movement, and that geographic advantage changed everything. In 1988, FedEx made a decision that revealed just how valuable Indiana truly was. The company selected Indianapolis for one of its largest global hubs. At the time, the area looked completely ordinary, mostly farmland, open space, no coastline, no glamorous skyline. But FedEx wasn't looking for beauty, it was looking for efficiency. Indianapolis sits within a day's drive of a huge percentage of the United States population. Highways radiate outward in every direction. Rail connections surround the city. The airport sits beside major freight routes. For a logistics company, it was almost perfect. Today, millions of packages pass through Indianapolis every single day. Planes land and depart around the clock. Conveyor belts never stop moving. A place most Americans barely think about became one of the hidden nerve centers of global commerce. And that same story repeats itself across Indiana. While much of America shifted toward finance and tech, Indiana held on to something different: manufacturing. Factories across the state still produce steel, automotive parts, machinery, pharmaceuticals, and industrial equipment used across North America. Indiana may not put its name on the final product, but parts of Indiana are everywhere. Inside vehicles, inside buildings, inside supply chains. That industrial identity shaped the culture of the state itself. In many parts of America, manufacturing slowly disappeared. In Indiana, it stayed. Skilled trades remained important. Industrial parks expanded. Warehouses multiplied near highways. The economy here may not look flashy, but it keeps producing real physical output at massive scale. And strangely enough, some of that mindset was shaped by failure. Back in the early 1800s, Indiana tried to become a canal powerhouse. Leaders believed canals could transform the state into a major trade empire. So Indiana launched massive canal construction projects. But things went wrong. Costs exploded, construction struggled, debt piled up. Eventually, the financial pressure became overwhelming, And the failure changed Indiana deeply. After rewriting the state constitution in 1851, lawmakers placed strict limits on government borrowing. That moment shaped Indiana's political culture for generations. Instead of chasing risky megaprojects, the state became more cautious, more practical, more focused on systems that matched its geography. And ironically, that may have helped Indiana later, because railroads worked better here than canals ever could. Then highways worked even better than railroads. Indiana stopped fighting its geography. Instead, it leaned into it. And that decision quietly made the state extremely effective at moving goods across America. But Indiana's story is not just about transportation, it's about identity. For decades, different parts of the state followed different time systems. Some counties observed daylight saving time, others refused. The debate lasted for years. To outsiders, it looked strange. But inside Indiana, it reflected something deeper. The state often moves carefully before accepting national trends. Local priorities matter here. Tradition matters here. Even in a place built around efficiency, independence still shapes decision-making. And maybe that's what makes Indiana so fascinating, because beneath its quiet appearance is a state quietly powering enormous parts of the American economy. It doesn't dominate headlines. It doesn't attract endless tourism. It rarely becomes the center of national attention. But millions of tons of freight move through it every year. Factories continue producing. Supply chains continue flowing. Indiana may look ordinary from the outside, but underneath that flat landscape is one of the hidden systems helping keep America running. And perhaps that's the strangest part of all. The places that shape a country the most are often the places people overlook first.